Brother Maynard, bring up the holy hand grenade. 1, 2, 5.
Please, sir.
3.
Arm yourselves, America. This is Defenders Live.
Hey, here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gonna stop. We gonna turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, tell 'em turn it out till they get no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last warning, I'm gonna see go. I am not afraid of the storm that comes my way. When it hits, it shakes me to the core.
Oh, what is today?
What is today? It's Wednesday. Wednesday.
I was so excited for it to be Wednesday. I was like, yay, it's Wednesday. And I literally just went, what the hell?
What day is it again?
And you would think I would know, considering I was sitting there waiting for my children to get picked up.
No, not at all.
Kind of used to that by now. It's kind of become a thing.
Well, I mean, Wednesdays.
Yeah, Wednesdays. But anyway, it is Wednesdays.
Which means that yesterday was Super Tuesday.
Yeah. And normally we would start off with some article or whatnot. But instead, being that yesterday was Super Tuesday, and
we happen to have a man on Mojo that happens to be a very big numbers guy and pays attention to all the politics.
A very big numbers guy.
We thought it was best,
One might say huge.
Huge numbers guy. Huge. Yeah, we thought it might have been best that we bring him on. Andrew Coppins, how's it going, buddy?
How you doing,
What's going on, my fine late night hosts?
Ooh, fine. We're double fine. Look at that.
Don't fine, because there's two of us. We're like the Spearmint Gum, but we're not cute twins.
Oh, that makes me a
Well,
little
at least
sad.
one of you is. No.
Thanks. I know you were talking about Dylan, but thanks.
Oh.
No, those glasses people have to stick together.
As I say, it's the beard.
true.
The beard always chases people away. Or turns
No,
them
the
off.
lack of beard chases people away, my friend. Anyway, let's not go on a tangent about beards and facial hair and all the rest. Instead, we have a wonderful show planned for you guys, one of which, starting with Andrew Coppins. Tell us about what happened yesterday.
Chaos, just pure chaos. If you would have walked into Super Tuesday, a week ago and not seen anything this past week, and then saw what happened, you would wonder what planet you actually were on. Bernie Sanders came in as the presumptive favorite, a guy who they thought was going to win Texas, win California. Even if he didn't win all of the delegates that were at play in those two states, he was going to win the vast majority of them and be well on his way to maybe not necessarily getting all of the 1,991 delegates needed to win the Democratic nomination, but easily on his way to getting the plurality of them, if I could speak right. But yeah,
The plurals.
the plurals. Instead, it's Joe Biden. And honestly, when you look at what happened here, in less than 24 hours, maybe 36 at most, you had the entire apparatus of the Democratic Party just coalesce around Joe Biden. And that was incredible when you look at the numbers and what took place in the voting booth on Super Tuesday.
Well, you would, maybe. I wouldn't. Because I called this months ago.
Yeah, we called this. This was...
Once again, that's the funniest thing about all of this. All the numbers, everything that happened, we told you.
Yeah, Ray Charles saw this coming.
It's like
I
Stevie Wonder was giving the nod to this. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Like Helen Keller knew this was coming. I mean, she kind of pointed and went, "Ah!" And
but it was
we
still
all-
there. But she was pointing to Joe Biden. That might have been because he touched her, but that's another. It's not right.
Problem is, she would never know it was him.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, because he also takes a good sniff right?
Yeah, he did. Anyway.
Or you might have thought it was his sister. So
You mean
or
her?
his wife.
You mean his wife? His
Well, I'm
sister
confused.
wife?
That long lost.
They
twin, he
changed
forgot
sides. I don't know where they are.
Oh, poor guy.
Facial
But-
awareness. It must be going with the dementia.
It's pretty much close to it. But no, so we called this. We called this months ago. We told you that it didn't matter how much money Bloomberg was going to push out.
Yep.
Bloomberg was going to go away. We told you that nobody in the DNC wants Bernie Sanders, and because nobody in the DNC wants Bernie Sanders, your next candidate was going to be Joe Biden.
Yeah, it had to have been. And I agree with you in terms of seeing the writing on the wall, but it's how it happened and how quickly it happened. It's not just the apparatus, it's the fact that it's the voters that also bought in.
Yeah.
That's the amazing part of it, is that the voters went all in on one candidate right away. It wasn't like a situation where, well, maybe we'll go Elizabeth Warren and pick off a few pieces of that. That's not what happened at all here.
Yeah, it was sad. I say sad. It's pretty sad to have come in third in your own state.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
I thought she would have done at least a little bit better than that. I mean,
You'd at least think that they'd let her in the front door first.
at least. But that's what happens when you sit there and you lie for so long and you pretend it was. You know what she did? She didn't play the 100 or 1024th.
Indian.
Was she didn't have that listed on there. She added as like
It's the one thing she didn't have a plan for.
exactly. She
And
should have
yet-
been drinking beer with everybody. Is what
That's
she should have
right.
been doing.
Oh man, yes, that was the deal.
Brutal.
I
Let-
know.
let-
I mean, ooh,
Here,
who
you
doesn't,
guys want a beer? I'm gonna have a beer.
who doesn't want to have a beer with her?
I don't.
Just saying.
Who does?
I don't even want her to be my bartender. Like, I don't. No,
Well, she'd break most. She'd probably drop most of them.
that's what I'm saying.
I could see her as being the type at a bar that would be trying to do the flips and stuff like cocktail and completely start dropping shit everywhere. Watch me do that. Oh God, that fell. on
Oh,
the floor.
too bad. Extreme Stealth Jackhole over on the Twitter says, at DOA Show, shocking! Just shocking, I tell you!
Oh.
Hashtag called it.
Yeah. That's the thing. They didn't want Bernie. Like, Bernie has got momentum because he's preaching a good game to all these ignorant little kids. And I know that sounds a bit harsh, but it's the truth. A lot of these young people are not being actually raised and taught what is in front of them and what these socialist programs are actually going to do. So they think, oh, great, we can just get a bunch of free stuff. But the fact of the matter is that Bernie moves way too fast for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and I think that bears out when you take a look at the numbers here. And his strategy was, let's play to the youth, and then let's build off of that momentum, and let's play off of the Latino population. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that the younger set of the Latino population has grown up largely inside the Catholic Church, right? But their version of the Catholic Church is liberation theology. And so they have been indoctrinated from school, from home, from within their church communities into this type of socialism as a good thing for society here. But the problem with that is that he has never been able to get beyond that group of people. When you think about it, there's 80 million in the millennial generation. There's about 90 million in Generation Z. And yes, not all of them are voting age yet, but you put those two together, you've got a bigger coalition than the baby boomers, who are around 72 million.
Because I tell you, man,
they-
who else knows the Utes of America better than Joe Biden?
Oh,
Have you seen that man sniffing the baby's hair? Who else? Who else knows the Utes of America like Joe Biden?
Yeah, no doubt. And to that point, you saw Bernie Sanders get a massive, massive amount of support. You take a look, he won, I think it's, something like 50, 60% on all of these crazy states, right, of this youth vote. But the problem with it is, 14% were of that group. Then you look at it, it was 16% 4 years ago in North Carolina. South Carolina, it went from 15 to 11%.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Tennessee, that number dropped 4% in terms of their voter turnout. So if you're hanging your hat on that one group, you've got to get them, one, to turn out, and two, you have to find a way to build off of it, and he's not doing it. And so that might, when you look at just the pure numbers here, you look and say, that's how this happened, right? That it wasn't just the coalescing around Joe Biden. It was that Bernie's message is starting to fall flat, even with the people that he is supposed to really invigorate and get them out and make this revolution. And what you're seeing is really, it's revolution versus coalition. And we're going to have a pretty big battle on our hands going forward, because it's clear that those are the two lanes that are going to collide here.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, you see a little bit of history kind of replaying. Like this is similar to like when they threw Woodrow Wilson into presidency. Like it was, hey, you want it? We're going to set you up for this. All you got to do is start off this way and blah blah blah. And Bernie's trying to do it, sadly, the old-fashioned way, which is I'm going to convince the people. Yep. As jacked up as his policies are and everything else, you have to at least give the man that much credit that he's trying to at least do it. I use this word loosely, but the with integrity and with a little bit of dignity and honor, he's trying to win the people. And the proof was in the fact that Biden didn't, like most of the states that he won yesterday, he didn't campaign in at all.
Yeah, Virginia is a great example, and Minnesota is another one. Those two states spent something like $700,000, while Bloomberg spent $25 million in the state of Virginia.
Yeah,
and it amounted to nothing. And I think that's the other missing part of this equation that people are not talking about, is that when you look at the numbers, it's the amount of money. Everybody says, well, Bloomberg was going to buy this election. It didn't happen. And I don't necessarily think it can happen the way that people would imagine this playing out in their heads. You can definitely win over the party, if you will, in terms of and that's really what Donald Trump did in the 2016 election, is he used his money to win over the party apparatus eventually.
Right.
It took him a while, but he won that party apparatus.
But he started early.
Be able to do it.
He started early. He started way earlier than Bloomberg. You know, Bloomberg came in. He basically started halfway. Okay? The man started halfway through the race and said, you know what? I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to spend thousands of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I'm going to win, because that's how Trump won. And except for the fact that, he came out as this caring guy, as this charismatic guy. He is supposedly charismatic guy. He came out as this big eco guy, and then right behind all of those things that he started saying about himself, allegations of sexual harassment, allegations of all this stuff. You find out Big Oil's backing him. All this other crap.
Yeah, he got knifed hardcore by Elizabeth Warren in that debate in South Carolina. It was South Carolina. And that was the end of that for him, no matter what was going to happen.
I'm sorry,
how much money.
When Elizabeth Warren can break you,
you're
done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think, and this is just my humble opinion, but I don't think that Bloomberg's message actually works well outside of New York. A lot of where he is, a lot of his principles, a lot of his policies are very big city type stuff. It's the stuff that you can get a large city like New York to fall behind, because they do need that kind of handout and welfare and support and blah, 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 blah. You're not going to be able to convince a small town like, similar like what Stephen and I live in or whatever to go along with those kind of things. They don't want somebody to come in and tell them that they can't have so much sugar, or they can't have, they have to use mass transit. When for myself, it takes an hour for me to get to work, or an hour 20 to get to work.
Although,
and mass transit is not going to work for me. There's no way you're going to have a bus come out just to pick my lonely little ass up and carry me to where I need to go.
Right, especially when you're going out of state.
Yes, exactly. And so, and I think that had a lot to do with it too. I think he thought he could play the Trump card, as it were. He could play the same thing. The thing with Trump, though, was he was actually he had both of it. He had the message to connect with the base and the people, and he had the money to get out in front of everything. And Bloomberg only had the money.
Right.
'Cause
And well, he had the money and he had the commercials. And if you believe the people,
So
like Virginia Jackhole over on the MeWe, she says Bloomberg pissed off more people with those ads. Those ads hurt him more than Warren.
Yeah. They were horrible.
Oh yeah.
They were
everywhere.
Oh dear God. It was
Everything you watched had a Bloomberg ad.
yes, even stuff that you didn't think would have.
But I will tell you,
commercial-
I will tell you this. I don't know if it's in your numbers, Andrew, but I found that because we were talking about the commercials the other day. The one commercial that I thought could actually hit home was Joe Biden's commercial with Barack Obama voicing it.
Yep.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
That-
And it was
that
a late.
incredible.
It was a late commercial. I mean, it was late. It was like 3 days out from Super Tuesday before when it hit.
Yep.
Very
Yeah, I
late
mean, that-
commercial.
If anything, that shows you the coordination that has been going on behind the scenes for some time here.
Yeah.
And so some of this is definitely baked in the cake, but at the same point in time, we saw the chaos happen on Super Tuesday. You have to think that Bernie Sanders is not going to respond just by going away. I think he's going to respond with his own style of chaos, whether that's throwing all the socialist tools against the wall that he possibly can. We're going to see him fight.
Yep.
And it's going to be knockdown, drag out, because ultimately, when you look at it, right now, I think it's about a 61 or 62 delegate count situation between him and Joe Biden. And California is only about 34, 35% of the way through all of their ballots. And we might not know till Friday what that real delegate count looks like. That tells you that this is going to end up on the convention floor. And this is something that we haven't really seen since the 68 convention. And a lot of people point to this. I think we're in a similar situation here, that we're going to see the numbers in its really, I think the Elizabeth Warren situation is going to be key here.
Yeah.
Where do her delegates go? They're usually on the progressive wing of that party. And that means they're more likely, it's not her voters, it's the delegates. They're more likely to flip to Sanders over Biden. And then we have to also take into consideration Biden is gaffe prone. What does he say in the coming weeks? Do people say, wait a minute, now that he is literally the guy on the stage next to Sanders, Sanders looks crazy, but if Biden makes himself look crazier than Bernie, all bets are really off when it comes to the numbers. And that's why I think this is so interesting. I can parse out all of the demographics and all the things that went on to really put this together. But at the end of the day, this could all change in a week.
Oh,
just
yeah.
by what somebody says.
For sure. And like we said, this is Joe Biden's to lose. No matter what,
yes.
This is Joe Biden's to lose. And we keep on saying it that way because it really is. I mean, the man came out last week, and at the end of his speech, Dylan showed me this. He came out last week, and at the end of his speech, what did he say? I'm Joe Biden, and I'm running for state senate.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I'm running for the Senate.
Senate of state. Yeah. He was running for state. Yeah.
No, you're not.
And he didn't catch it. He just kept rolling, and it's like,
Just gone.
dude, like, look. But now, see, now you're parsing into like the ability of whether or not he could actually win. Like, okay,
I don't think he has the ability to keep a functioning brain for more than 30 minutes.
look, he's not. He's gonna be the nominee. Y'all just got to get that set and ready now.
Oh yeah, we know that.
We all know for a fact there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Joe Biden would win against Donald Trump. There is no way. The left has no one at all. That's not right.
Sorry. Hey Coppins, when you get a chance, you're gonna have to hit up the MeWe's.
Yeah, congratulations. You have officially been immortalized.
You have now been Bidened. You've been Bidened.
Yep, you have been Bidened, and actually, for our show, that's actually a compliment.
That is a compliment. That's high praise.
Do I want to know?
No,
Probably
yes.
not, but
I'll
you'll
show
like it.
you after the show.
Sounds good.
Maybe. be all right. But no,
There's no way. There's absolutely no way that they have anybody. There's.
So I hate to. We have the numbers guy on the show, and yet here I am stating without a single doubt in my mind that the numbers, whatever they are, don't matter as far as the DNC is concerned.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Like
No,
it
I
doesn't
would
matter
100%
the
agree with you.
the extreme left delegates. It doesn't matter the extreme right delegates. It doesn't matter any of those things. They're going to they're not going to Bernie.
No.
They're going. There's going to be enough to make sure that Joe Biden wins. Bernie may look like he's like 30-point margin and he gets meh, but it's gonna be Biden all the way
No.
through.
They were look, the left was I say somewhat. They really weren't that subtle about it, but they were somewhat subtle when it came to the whole Hillary Clinton thing and with Bernie and all that stuff last time. They it was alluded
Subtle,
oh,
you
no,
say.
what was going on, but it just kind of, this
It
was
wasn't
like,
as out and out.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is in your face, we don't care. Again, the fact that Biden didn't campaign in a majority of the states that he won, if that doesn't tell you anything, again,
Yeah.
And then the other parts of this is that he's basically taking Bloomberg's staff. He's basically taking Klobuchar and Buttigieg's, individual campaigns that are on the ground and, using them as his own. He had no on the ground game anywhere. And how you do that and do those results without, I'm not saying that this was rigged in the classical sense of how you would rig something, but this was baked in the cake that they were going to be able to find a way to do this without him having to lift a finger. That's the incredible part of this. He didn't do anything on his own to make this happen. This was all about the Democratic Party.
Yes,
Yeah,
and the more he stays quiet, the better his points are. The more his numbers grow.
Yeah, because there was even a point going back to the whole winning in states he didn't campaign in. We were at work and they always have TVs running and have the news running, and God help us all, they tend to put it on like CNN or MSNBC or something like that. It was on one of those that they were actually talking to him, and they were like, "Look, dude, you haven't campaigned anywhere. You only have like an office with like 2 people. What do you think? I mean, do you really think you have it?" They actually whoever was interviewing was like, "Do you really think you have a chance?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, and then he turned around and won that state. And I'm like,
Oh
yeah. If you're a leftist voter right now, you might as well just give up.
For this election.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely for this election.
Oh wow, because they are not listening to you, and they are making sure that you are clear in understanding that they don't listen to you.
If you're on the left, you are going to have to vote for Joe Biden no matter what.
Yep.
I am telling you right now, if you don't like Joe Biden, it doesn't matter. You're voting for Joe Biden, or you're voting for, or you're going to not vote. And if you don't
And I
vote,
think that's the more likely scenario, to be honest with you, when you look at the numbers from Super Tuesday.
yes,
They're more likely to not even show up.
yes,
Yep.
and that's probably where it's going to happen. But remember, if you follow the same liberal logic, if you don't vote, that's just the same as you voting for the other guy.
Sure. But yes, in their mind, that's how that works.
Right.
But the other thing that I really wanted to point out, too, is that if you look at Texas and just break it down demographically, the number of Latinos that went Bernie Sanders' way there, what it tells you is that the young the sets of 30 to 44-year-olds that are starting to get older and become much more active in terms of actually voting. Now, right now in 2020, this is not going to work for them. But going forward, this is the thing to watch. They're breaking hard left as humanly possible. I think it was like 55%, almost 60% of that group from 30 to 44 went for Bernie Sanders, and they made up almost 9% of the electorate by themselves.
That's
So
amazing.
It's a huge number. And so maybe he loses the battle, but the war,
Probably not. Well, that right there means that it's time for a commercial break. We'll be right back. right after this.
And I swear that hour gets faster and faster.
A 30-minute break. I mean, geez. It's
Holy
gone.
man.
Does it feel that fast on your show?
Oh yeah.
It's like, daggone it.
It just keeps on going by faster and faster for us. I don't know what's going on. It's like we have our one day out of like 2 or 3 weeks where it's like this is the slowest show ever created, and then oh my gosh, every other day. Let me see here. Wow, you're making a big splash here, Compets.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I suppose I should check the Facebook.
I don't know about the Facebook, but I am going to try and get this.
Yeah, I
to
am
you.
not on the MeWe's, so that's
he
the
put on-
thing.
Well,
I think
it's already
Twitter.
gone to Twitter, so
Oh no.
Yeah.
yeah. You've been tagged, just so you know.
Yes, I have. Apparently.
Yes.
Let me just grab that real quick.
No, you're fine. We've got 45 seconds.
Oh boy.
Congratulations.
You're
You've been,
welcome. Yeah.
you've been
That's beautiful.
Isn't it though?
you've been Bidened.
You've been Biden. And they have that cut out for anybody and everybody that they wish. So
Everybody on this show gets Bidened.
probably yes. That's kind of how this works. All right. We're coming back here in a few seconds. So hold tight.
I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Back, everybody. Defenders Live, Mojo50. Go to mojo50.com. Check out everything that is going on over there. Amazing hosts that are going on, including the one joining us tonight, the Andrew Coppins. Well, your show is on Saturday?
Yes.
I
Yes.
feel so.
Saturday at 6 p.m.
So
Eastern.
sorry. You'd think I'd be.
Hey man, you guys need a break. I don't blame you. You mean to tell me you don't listen 24/7, 365 to Mojo?
Sadly, I do try, but no, I don't. I don't.
So can I talk about it? Can I talk about it?
Do you? Oh, now?
Can I talk about it?
Okay. All right, go ahead.
I'm really excited about this. Okay,
He's been excited about this like all day long.
Coming soon
If you're watching
to a
on the Facebook,
DOAE show near you. This
if you're looking on the Facebooks, the YouTubes,
handmade, hand
handcrafted.
painted, amazing 32-ounce tumbler. It's so
he is so
nice.
excited.
It's coming very soon to a DOAEshow.com near you.
Yes, he's been pining over this thing all day
Oh, it's so pretty.
long.
I just love
He
it.
is so excited, and he is.
pretty.
You will be able to get that soon at DOAEshow.com, where you can also pick up all of the official Jackhole Nation gear.
Yes, as well as any DOAE show gear, any Defenders Live things that you have or want. We have them there. You can get your stickers, your Post-its, your shirts, your mugs, soon to be tumblers. Any of these things, all available. By the way, these are, like I said, handmade.
Yep.
Which means they're customized, every single one of them. Yes, they're all going to be, we're all going to stick with the black on white, but technically each and every one is slightly different.
Yes, because they are, again, handmade and meticulously, and I can vouch for the
Very meticulously.
meticulously done and highly scrutinized. But
also every now and again, you might get a fingerprint at the bottom.
and but it's a good fingerprint. It's a personalization.
Right.
and that was because it was tacky and I touched it.
Virginia
So.
Jack Hole wants one, like right now.
Yeah, well, it's not ready, so
It's not-
sorry.
It'll be soon. All right, I'll have it on the site soon, and then you can buy it. Okay.
On the details, we're getting
Jeez.
everything hooked up. Blah blah blah. Just calm down. But he wanted to break that loose now and kind of say hey, and
Also,
we've been kind of beating around that little bush for a while now. So
Also, Extreme Stealth Jack all over on the Twitter. Need at DOAE Show gear for MojoCon.
well, you go to doaeshow.com and you can
And you
pick
can
up
order it.
whatever
It's
you need.
fine. It's right there. It's
Yeah, I
all
don't
available
know.
for, and you can get it before MojoCon.
Yes, there's plenty of time for it to arrive before
Mhm.
Mojo.
Speaking of beating around the bush, apparently in Texas, this is the first time ever in the past 40 years that a bush lost a Super Tuesday.
Oh,
It looks like they're looking for a little trim.
is it bad that I didn't even know that a bush was running?
No, because there's always a bush running.
This is true. I should have just assumed. As
You
long
can-
as there's politics and there's a bush.
You can pop in anytime, Coppins.
He's like, I don't know. What
No.
Oh gosh.
You're in it now, dude. You might as well just pull your pants up, shoes,
Put your big boy pants on and let's go.
tie your shoes together, drape them around your neck, and dive in, chief.
Oh.
Another 30 minutes to go, so you might as well buckle up. Yeah, no, I really didn't know, and I should have. That was my fault. Again, should have assumed, should have known that as long as there is a bush alive in Texas, thank you, they're going to be running for some form of office or another.
I mean, Texas's new name, new Indian name specifically from Elizabeth Warren is running with bushes. So, I mean,
Wow. And she's so mad about that too, because
she should have used it.
she should have used it. It might have helped her in Massachusetts. Bless her heart.
Yeah,
Poor Elizabeth.
this is
I
what
know.
happens. I'm really, really happy about this, though. I'm
What,
happy
that
about
Bush
this.
didn't win?
Yeah, that a Bush didn't win, mainly because that's the end of a dynasty.
Well, you know what it was? Jeb ruined it. I'm sorry, the whole please clap thing. Like
Please
that was it. That ruined it for. I mean, people were already kind of done with Bush after W. But yeah, no, they really when Jeb got out there and basically begged people to show up and to do things and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, no, that was
Okay.
over. That dynasty was done.
So, question for you, Andrew.
Answer for you?
Extreme Stealth Jackhole is also asking. So, Warren is still in the race? Hashtag there's always a Bush running.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, technically she is. Let's just put it this way. Some of the people that I know inside the political world, and believe it or not, I actually do know some people inside the inner workings of the political world. Yeah, it is an interesting conversation happening between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. And that's why I mentioned up front that it's the delegate count that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they can get that delegate count, even if it's 60, 70 delegates, that might matter on that convention floor when that battle happens, because that's where it's going. It doesn't matter who's got the numbers higher or lower. It's going to be that delegate floor that's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like what Brad said this morning. I was listening to him on the Daily Mojo, and he mentioned that he kind of alluded to the fact that her being still in, even with such a big loss and everything as of yesterday, she's kind of pulling basically a Kasich to kind of draw some of the votes and the delegates away from Bernie, because it's one of those, kind of help pave the way for as long as Biden stays in front. If she can pull some of those away from Bernie Sanders, then thank you. It just kind of opens up that door and makes it easier for him to go on without them having to be as blatant as, oh well, he didn't run. That still fascinates me. I'm sorry, but hey, you have one office and 3 people in this office, and yet you won, and you've only been you put one ad out yesterday.
Yeah, but the other interesting part with Elizabeth Warren here is when you look at the second choice, the candidate that those people would choose, the voters. And this is why I think this is the interesting dynamic between Warren and Sanders, is that it's actually Biden that the majority, it's over 55 or 57% of those people that they polled coming out of Super Tuesday were actually wanting to vote for Biden instead of Sanders. So technically, if you wanted to play the we're going to play this straight up game, she's better off getting out to help Biden. So behind the scenes, it is actually her ability to pull those delegates, right? And the delegates, the people that will actually go to the convention floor, are people that are actually more inclined to vote for Sanders during that process. And that's what's really kind of the horse trading that's going on behind the scenes there, is if she can pull enough delegates together, that matters.
See, I didn't know that Elizabeth Warren had a Sarah Jessica Parker in the background.
Wow. Not touching that.
I had Coppins broke down. All right.
I'm not touching that. Just not doing it.
Wouldn't be prudent.
Wouldn't be prudent.
Thank you. It's a good Bush joke too. Look at you guys.
Come on, this ain't my first rodeo.
Right. Ah.
We had to end, close out the story with the Bush with a Bush joke.
It had to be.
That wasn't blatant innuendo.
No. It's
We kind of
Poor Pierce. Poor Pierce. What did he ever do to you guys?
he shares a name with Morgan, Pierce Morgan.
And
And that's enough.
I mean, they were kind of running out of names when it got down to him.
Yeah. I mean, come on. They came up with Jeb.
And George. Don't forget George.
George, right. And Jeb.
Yeah, don't forget the exclamation point when you say Jeb. It's Jeb.
Jeb.
Always Jeb.
Jeb.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for those guys. Oh, man. Actually, Twitter's on fire tonight. If you guys
I know. It keeps dinging, and I haven't pulled up yet.
Good time.
My phone keeps lighting up, and I'm like, dang.
It's more so people are wondering how we got Coppins on the show, and they think we tricked him, but
I don't think he's not fully aware of what we're
the show it is. You know what I mean?
It's like, oh, well, this is a good idea. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Okay, here you go.
Are you sure?
Yeah. That's when Steven told me that he was talking to you about coming out. I'm like, our show?
Us.
Does he know who he's talking about?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Everything's fine. Nothing to see
Hey, man,
here.
If I can survive Izzo, I can survive you guys.
That's true.
Well,
I mean, Izzo is just the start of the, and we just continue forward.
Yeah, he throws a lit cigarette into it, and by the time he gets to us, it's already a raging inferno. And
we just keep on moving. That's just
yeah.
how
We just break out the weenies and the marshmallows and
Whoa! This is not a reoccurrence of my fraternity hazing, right? Let's not go there. No.
Apparently, we have a frat boy in the midst. Speaking of hazing, Democrat turned Republican in West Virginia, the governor there, he just recently signed the Born Alive bill into law.
Wow.
Yeah, he called it an absolute no-brainer as far as he was concerned.
Talk about diving in with 2 feet to the conservative movement.
Right?
Yeah, I've always been confused about these people that they change from one party to the other, and I always look at it from the angle of, well, you're just doing it because you just want the vote, you want to win, and it sometimes it doesn't always work, but sometimes it helps them out to make that jump. But I'm I'm always wary of these guys, but this is, I don't know, it's definitely a good thing.
So
definitely a good one.
Speaking of Born Alive bill, Andrew, obviously we didn't bring you on for this, but You wouldn't happen to have numbers on things like abortion and how bad it is, and
I wouldn't have numbers other than to say, if you are in the African American community, that number should scare the living crap out of you. Your chances of being born are, oh my God, dramatically different than almost every other segment of the American population. And I think that realization, when you actually confront that reality and put that in front of that community, I think they're shocked by it, because it's something that is really not talked about all that much inside that community. It's just something that's either assumed is happening or is swept underneath the rug.
fully
Much like,
accepted.
You know, the gay population in that community as well is kind of swept under the rug or put behind the closet or whatever euphemism you would like to use there. I think it's incredible. It's almost 70% of African American pregnancies right now end in an abortion.
That doesn't make any
That's
sense.
incredible.
That
It
makes
is- it
absolutely
is
no
incredible.
sense.
And this might be the demographic of the area that I grew up in or whatever, but that it was when I heard that statistic the first time, I was completely blown away, because the experiences I have around there, the stigma or the stereotype was always that a lot of these ladies were having multiple kids with multiple dads. I mean, that's even comedians make jokes about that kind of stuff all the time.
Sure.
So when you hear those jokes and you hear that stuff and that stereotype, and you kind of, it's not everywhere, but you that's the stereotype. So it's got to be more often than not. And then you find out, like you said, it is upwards of the 70 percentile that end in abortion. You're like, holy smokes! Like, this is, if these people are still having, 4, 5, 6 kids or whatever. And I'm, it's not everyone's like that, of course. Let me just clarify that. But if a lot of them are getting the stigma of having this many children, and you having still 70% of them are getting killed, then holy smokes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it's incredible. It's incredible.
It is incredible. Sorry, sidetrack here. Techru, I believe the type of numbers that you're looking for, that's not something that Andrew does. He's asking if Andrew has perhaps some winning lottery numbers. I'd gladly name a brewery after him.
Sure you would.
He actually would. If
And he would
yeah,
make a brewery.
really would.
He makes some really good beer.
Yeah, he does.
Well, send some my way, for crying out loud.
Well, that's the funny thing. You're a lot closer to him than we are, so he could probably drive it to you.
Yeah.
I will gladly accept.
Techru, try to meet up with Andrew Coppin sometime.
I was thinking, watch your DM over on Twitter here in a minute. He's going to be reaching out to you to
directly.
Yeah.
be sliding into your DMs there.
Creeping.
I don't want to know anybody who's sliding into anybody's DMs. Okay. Kevin.
Okay, I've only read the headline for this,
Uh-huh.
and I couldn't get further, so I don't know if you want to do
Sure.
this and let me.
I don't know
react,
which
'cause
one you're talking
you
about.
did this on purpose.
Yeah, of course I did.
I figured. Okay, go
Which
ahead.
one? Which one?
The campus.
Compets, listen to this, man. Campus newspaper for prestigious all-women's college tells school to stop calling students women.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Carry the 1 times 50 divide by.
Math doesn't work in this
infinity.
situation,
What's
buddy.
Hold on. It is an all-female school.
Uh-huh.
You can't say female either.
No.
No, it's an all-women's school, and
Can't
you
say that.
can't
Yeah.
say
Mhm.
women.
Yeah, a recent staff editorial of the Wellesley News, the student newspaper for Wellesley College, calls for
One of
prestigious.
Hillary Clinton's favorite place.
Yes, has now set out calls for the prestigious all-women school to edit its policies and language in deference to the transgender and non-binary individuals, most notably to stop calling students women.
Um.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to keep going, or?
Yeah, keep going because I
I-
almost said a bad word.
Yeah, not good. The editorial takes the umbrage at the, quote, never-ending reminders on campus that the Wellesley is for women who will, as well as attitudes of students, staff, and faculty members of campus who continue to refer to Wellesley sisters and use she, her pronouns without consideration for who is in the room. These current practices and attitudes perpetuate an ongoing exclusion and ignorance of transgenders and non-binary identities.
Over here,
And-
here.
Andrew Compens, Mojo 50. Yes.
Yeah, women who will what?
No, women who will.
They just will.
I just
Exactly. It doesn't matter that they will. Tell me how this is not an actual obvious war on women. To the point, you can't even like that's literally part of war, of battle. Is you don't even acknowledge your opponent, your enemy, as what they are. You whittle them down. You give them a different name, or you do what? You demoralize them. How is that not it? And okay, so this is supposed to be an all-women's school, right?
Yes, it is.
Now they're trying to be accommodating to
Inclusive.
the non-binary and transgender siblings. Okay,
Right.
so if you're not going to call women women and you're going to be doing the whole non-binary transgender bit, then I, as a full-blown cis male, should easily be able to get in there and go
Get
to
on
college there
campus?
if I want.
Yeah, you should be able to because it means absolutely nothing for you as a cisgendered male to walk onto campus now. Since
Not stupid enough to.
right, you're not. No,
Yeah.
that'd be a bad
College.
idea.
That would be stupid.
First off, being surrounded by that many women at the same amount of time that probably are all synced up with their not a good idea.
and all of them are about as leftist as you can get.
Yes.
Oh, that's a delight.
In addition, the
Now-
editorial calls attention to Wesley's policy of excluding transgender male students from admission and not allowing applicants who identify as women, whether male or female assigned at birth, or who were identified as female at birth, who now identify as non-binary. Those, quote, those who are assigned male at birth and identify as non-binary or identify as cis males are not eligible for administration. The editorial adds.
I just can't.
Oh, goodness.
I don't get it. What you?
The amount of mental gymnastics that has to go on
Thank
to
you.
get to this point, the amount of pretzels you twist yourself into, it boggles the mind. And I've read a book about the young radicalization on campus, and one of the things and one of the conclusions is that it's literally two different worlds. You're speaking two completely different language sets. And so while it doesn't compute for us, it computes for them. It is almost impossible for those two to even come to a common language set. And that creates the problem that we see in society right now, is that we're not speaking the same language.
No, well, we're not. And I don't understand what is the end result. What is the point that you're trying to get at? So you're trying to pander to what a point of a percent of the people going to said college.
Yeah.
I really have always been confused, and I say confused. I've been baffled at the fact and just fascinated that just like with this college, we're doing it all over America as it is. We're caving to the minority of the minorities.
Mhm.
And I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at television even today. You cannot have a new show come out without some character magically either being gay or there's a show out on Fox now that magically one of the main characters is transgender, and it's like, okay, that's fine if that's what you want to go, but it's just virtue signaling to virtue signal.
Yeah.
It's not part of the story per se. It's just,
that was my-
we're making a character fit this new narrative. Why?
Yeah,
They-
correct me
I've
if I'm
noticed
wrong,
that with,
though.
like-
Sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong, but numbers-wise, we're talking about a population density of, if we compare it to America as a whole, we're talking about 1/10 of 1%.
Right.
That we're catering 90% of our entertainment to.
Yeah,
Well,
that don't get that at all.
And it's in such a bad way too, because again, like I understand. Okay, I can't fully understand, in real life, but I don't understand. They make such a big deal about, well, such and such is a new superhero and they're transgender or they're lesbian or whatever. The show is based on a superhero or a character. What part of their sexuality has to do with the story?
Batwoman is a lesbian.
That's part of what I was thinking. From the other side of that, Black Canary or whatever, on the Arrow series and stuff, she was lesbian. What does that matter? What does that actually do for the character? Nothing. Which just goes to prove that in real life, it does nothing. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares what you do in your bedroom, in your own private time, behind closed doors. It doesn't affect anybody else. It's the same thing, and I've thrown this out there before. It's the same thing as your taste in pizza.
Which, once again, let's not get into that conversation because there are some out there.
I'm not doing the pineapple part. I'm just saying period. You know what I mean? I'm just saying period. If I walked around and said, I like pepperoni pizza, does that have any bearing whatsoever on anything that I'm doing outside unless we're sitting down to having pizza?
No.
It doesn't do anything. And it drives me nuts that we have to lead with, well, this is such and such as, they've done this and they've done that and they're lesbian or they're gay or they're binary or whatever, and two-spirit, whatever the crap is. And it doesn't make a difference.
Totally.
I'm sorry, my eye's twitching right now. It really is. I
do this on purpose because it's great entertainment. I'm glad you get to join us today for that specifically, Andrew, but
I'm just like, I don't get it.
No, I'm right there with you. It just bothers me because it's comes from a mindset where, for me, I treat you as an individual. You get my respect as an individual, regardless of those things. Whether I agree with that lifestyle or that choice or your choice to eat pineapple on a pizza or not, or whatever, or ranch on a pizza, or whatever you want to talk about, right?
Yep. It doesn't.
If I treat you with respect, I would expect the same thing back. It has no bearing on how I treat you.
Yes. I would even take it a step further into, like we mentioned before about like with abortion and stuff. I may not agree with someone who has an abortion, but I'm still going to deal with you as a person. Yes. What you do in your private life and the decisions you make, that's stuff that you, if you believe in God or believe in a higher power, that's something you're going to have to answer for and deal with on your own time. And if you don't, there's the consequences in real life that you're going to have to deal with. And that's on you. I deal with you based off of how you treat me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And if you treat me with respect, I could care less if you think, you're a three-toed sloth. Don't care. I may look at you funny and go, well, you have clearly more than three toes, but God bless you. But I'm not gonna be a douche to you just because you think that.
Heck, we have a slug that actually listens to the show.
We do. An ever-changing slug, actually.
Yeah, continually changing slug.
Continually changing.
Except for the eye stalks. The eye stalks don't change.
They're always there and always sensitive. But the rest of...
It's not a really good way to talk about Watson, for crying out loud.
I'm not talking about Watson!
Look, we talk about William Pendergrass with much love and like, he's near and dear to our hearts. I mean...
Yeah.
He
hasn't sabotaged your show, so...
Well, that's because there's a reason why he's on in the morning and we're on at night, is he has a little bit more flexibility during the day. And look, he by far is the he's the reverend of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, we're already tainting Carrie Melanak. We don't need to ruin
We don't need to ruin Rutherford Panda Shear. We don't have to do that.
Wilhelm Peterson needs to stay the holy man that he is.
Now, before we go any further, we need to get to the bell counts. Let's do that.
Good evening, Mojo 50. I'm Leprechaun, and here with your bell count grade for the day, Wednesday, March 4th, 2020. Today we had 8 missed innuendo bells, 25 actual bells, 2 rim shots, and 1 oh my gosh. Give us a B- for the day. Peace out and good night, boys.
Quick, where can people find you, Coppins?
At the Coppins Show on Twitter, Facebook, and anywhere else on social media.
There
and
you go.
CoppinShow.com.
There you go. See you later, guys.
Bye, y'all.
That was wonderful. Bravo. I loved that. Oh, it was great. Well, it was pretty good. Well, it wasn't bad. Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good. It could have been a lot better. I didn't really like